All right, people are still joining, so let's see. We'll just keep
Yes,
it a
the
minute.
people who joined recently, please open your mic, open your video, and say hello and introduce yourselves. Because today is a very informal networking event. So if you go to a networking, how you will be introducing ourselves with a business card exchange instead, we are seeing face to face here virtually. So don't be shy, because as a business owners, or people involved in the business, you'll be talking to your customers, you'll be talking to the strangers to talk about your business. So here we are all friends and we are a small community, so you should start practicing.
Hi, I'm Jennifer.
Hi Jennifer,
Hi,
where are
Jennifer,
you from?
welcome.
I'm here in Asheville area of North Carolina.
Oh, we are not too far from us.
No, not really. Matter of fact, we're heading for Florida for the winter, so we'll be passing through your area.
Oh, next time stop by.
Yeah, I would, because I'd love to see your equipment.
Yeah, all of you in the meeting, if you come through Atlanta, you are always welcome.
Okay. See, I play pickleball, and there's a pickleball at Griffin Park. Griffin Park, I think it is. Yeah. And anyway, so I
What do you
like
do,
going through that
Jenny?
area.
What do you do?
Pardon me.
What do you do?
What do I do? I'm actually semi-retired real estate agent, but I'm making chocolates. I just had 2 custom mold designs made. And so that's what I want to work with. And so right now here in North Carolina, I'm trying to get my kitchen set up. I've got a build out area about 1,100 square feet that I can use in our house that would be separate from the house.
Wow.
So I want to get something started up in there.
Oh, nice.
And I've been watching your equipment.
Thank you.
And I also went to, I learned about you guys from École Chocolat. I graduated from their programs.
Oh, okay.
So I'm interested in doing bean to bar because I'd like to do my own thing. But right now, all I got to do is start with a tempering machine, so I can just use other people's chocolate, get started, and then start moving in.
Okay. Yeah, we are coming up with a solution for you too. We are introducing the tempering machine in January.
Okay, and it's one that you can add to, you can build on a line.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
like
perfect.
6 kilos per batch, and then it comes with the vibrating table and everything. It's a tabletop, very
Uh-huh.
compact, very easy to change. It's a continuous tempering,
It's a
not a batch
tabletop.
tempering. Tabletop.
Wow. Okay, I will be very interested in that one.
Yeah, the other people, please, who are all here. A lot of people are not opening their mic or talking.
Yes, feel free to open your video, open your mic, come on in so we can see each other. Now, Mrs. Butler says, don't be shy, but you may not know, but I'm shy, but I show up. I do show up anyway, sometimes with my knees knocking, but so it's okay to be shy and do it anyway.
Marilyn, you want to talk about your.
Well, it's 10:10 now, so
A little bit. This
oh,
is
Marilyn.
Yes. I'm getting started back up doing my bakery products, and I want to introduce bean to bar in my bakery next year. So I want to learn that. I did call down there a couple of times to find out when you would start back up with doing your bean to bar classes, but I haven't gotten a reply back yet.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, unfortunately, the pandemic put a hold on it, but we are planning to bring it in March or April. We are working on it. You will hear it soon. Because
Okay.
even though in US we have opened up the travels from last year, in a lot of other countries they had a lot of restrictions. So finally, it's all easing up all over the world. People can travel between the countries more, with less restrictions now. So it'll be sometime in March or April. So look for the announcements soon. We
Oh,
will
that'd be
do it
great.
in the winter because the people's travel plans will be affected with this suddenly some the airport closings or anything. We don't want to inconvenience them. So that's why we try to wait for the weather to warm up a little bit.
Okay. I didn't turn my video on because right now I'm trying to get some sourdough bread done.
Oh, making sourdough bread.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Wonderful.
hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then Collins, you want to talk?
Who do you see, Mrs. Bartlett? Oh,
I
you're
see
you're reading the
Collins,
list.
Emilio, and Adrian.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Collins Kimaro, joining from Tanzania, where we're in the process of starting a bean to bar factory here with cocoa grown locally in the country. And I already have some of the machines from Cocoa Town, so it's always a pleasure to be connected with you and learn from the community. Thank you.
Thank
Wow,
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad you can make it.
Yeah. Then Abhimanyu, do you want to talk? Okay, Jen. Oh, Emilio. Okay, I'm just going alphabetical order in the participants. Emilio, do you want to talk? Okay. Okay, looks like we have a very quiet thing. Teresa?
Yeah, so well, I wanted to, sort of pick everybody's brain or I have some, conversation starter type questions. So I wanted to know, ask everyone to share some professional highlight from 2022, something that you're proud of or new product or something that I can share. I can go first if it helps. One of the things that I really enjoyed in 2022 was getting to be a part of Chacoa this year. They did it hybrid, and so I was able to see all the talks and um, chat and communicate with people from all over the world during that festival. I really enjoyed that. Got to meet a lot of people, and I joked that it was kind of like being a little kid outside of the candy store with your face against the window looking in, and you can see everybody having a good time and eating chocolate, but you can't get in. But I did enjoy getting to network and meet everyone, and I learned a lot from the talks that were presented there. So that's one of my highlights. Anyone else?
If nobody else going, I can go. Yeah, the one thing this year was it's a learning year for me. We applied for the Goldman Sachs 10 KSB program, which is called the 10,000 Small Business Program. What they do is they select some business owners and they teach them how to grow their business. And the requirements are simple. You should have been in business for 2 years and then you should have 2 employees. And it's like a mini MBA, I would say. So it is an intensive program. I had to dedicate a lot of time. So thanks to Teresa, Jay, Gary, David, in Hinali, in Don, and everybody pitching in and taking my load, and especially my family, Dr. Balu, and my kids, so I could focus more on the studies. But anybody is interested, in growing your business, reach out to me because they have a referral program. So I can send your information to them, and then you can participate. So I would, strongly recommend anyone interested in learning about doing business, because we have been in business. We say we have been in business for 30 years, but a lot of things I knew, the lot of things were that I did not know before, and they were new, and especially the technology is changing so fast. So it's good to update ourselves.
Mrs. Balu, I would love to hear one thing that you changed in your business as a result of your training. Give us a little teaser.
Sure. I haven't started changing because my assignment was due yesterday. So I was, stressing out to finish my assignment yesterday. So we have to start implementing in 2023. The one thing I would say is we are going to revamp our website based on what I learned from there. Because we have a lot of information in our website. We thought, oh, okay, whatever people ask, we'll put it there. But then we didn't realize when somebody new comes in, there's too much information overload. They don't know what to do with that information. So we have to give it in a bite-sized pieces that the people can handle instead of giving the whole loaf of bread shoving into your mouth. So that's the big takeaway, you know.
That's something we could all do, right?
Colin says her highlight would be taking the step of faith and actually purchasing some small machines. And she's thanking Cocoa Town for accessible machines.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Abhimanyu sent a thing that he's not feeling well, so he cannot talk, but he's listening.
Yes.
We just, you know, we want to make sure you feel better soon.
Yes. Yes. Dr. Ogata, I see you want to contribute?
Yes, what I wanted to say is that during this 22, I have been working close with several group of cacao growers in southern Mexico, and the common issue that came out with the conversations that I had there is that there is a lot of enthusiasm in trying to link the bean to bar chain. The only and most difficult problem is the lackness of access to machines like the ones that Cocoa Town sells. So my suggestion would be if Cocoa Town get in touch with one or two communities so that they can make a study case and show to these very small producers how to jump into the making of high quality chocolate. And then I bet other communities will be more aware of this huge leap into the making of chocolate. And then they will be able to organize and try to get the equipment that Cocoa Town sells. Because nowadays, at least in southern Mexico, there is a huge, how can I say, a new wave of people from all over the world trying to get cocoa seeds because it seems to be there's a lackness of seeds. And the problem is that, as usually, the cacao producers are just looking how people from other countries take their seeds and make chocolate in Belgium, in France, States, England. So I would suggest to make a plan so that Cocoa Town can be recognized not only for the good machines that you make, but to make some examples in the field with two communities or something like that. And in this way, Cocoa Town will show how they can make a difference with the small producers that usually have no access to technology.
That's a very good point, Dr. Navagata. Nisal, thank you. Yes, see, we always say we are in the business of creating and empowering chocopreneurs. And especially, we want to help the farming communities to be more sustainable. Since you are in the field and you have vetted, make sure that they need this machine. What I can suggest is, the holiday gift giving mood, we can give you one set of machines for them to start in one place. But only thing
Oh,
what we want is we want them to pay for the shipping and duties and taxes, because we also believe they should pitch in. And if you just hand over it, sometimes they don't know the value. But when
okay.
they also participate, in buying in a small, even little bit they contribute, then they feel more ownership.
That would be great. And in this way, it's like when the time of the machetes to
Yeah.
cut the cane. The machetes, the producers got well known because the machetes were available in the field. That is the same that I am seeing with Coco Town. A lot of people say, okay, yeah, let's get it, but first they don't have access, they don't know where to buy it, they don't know how to make it work. And if they know all this, they usually at the end don't have the money. So, but if you make such a contribution, I think we can make a nice difference just in one community to show to the rest how you can make a difference. This last September, during the day of the chocolate day, now it's a national day in Mexico, I was in the heart of the cacao producers in Tabasco. They were selling chocolate bars, but all the chocolate bars, the common was that they don't have a machine to grind enough and to be able to temper it. But the quality of the chocolate is good, but the ending is not good. So if you can do such a thing, I can get in touch with one of these communities and we can make a difference.
Okay, sure.
And thank
Dr.
you.
Ogata, will you reach out to us by email so we can
Sure.
get that started?
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Great, thank you. Forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. There you are, beautiful.
Yes, I'm Ian. How are you?
Ian, beautiful, welcome.
Yes, thank you. I think we're sharing what we accomplished 2022, you said?
Yes.
Okay, well, nice to meet everyone. I'm Ian. This year, I've been trying to launch my chocolate brand for a while. And this year, I actually launched a pre-order for my new brand on Kickstarter. So it's live now. So that was a big accomplishment that I basically kickstarted the business that I wanted to start for a while. So I'm really happy that I have that started and then I can start growing it hopefully in 2023 upcoming.
Congratulations. Can you tell us the name? Tell us.
Oh
the name.
yeah, it's called Luji's chocolate. So it's chocolate 100% made in West Africa. I guess similar to what Mr. Ogata was mentioning around working directly with farmers there so that in the end they can also start producing. I can send you guys the link if you care, but
Yes, put in the chat.
Okay, I will.
Chat. Yeah, and tell us where you are. Where are you?
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in New York, but
Ah.
I'm originally from Nigeria, so it's actually made 100% there. But yeah, I'm based in Brooklyn.
Very good.
Actually, you know, all of you here, you can also share your stories on our social media. We call it share the mic because there are a lot of small businesses that people don't know about, all of you. So please send some pictures of your chocolates, your brand, yourself, your story. We have a place called Share the Mic. We want to do it once a week. But a lot of people are not coming. We talk to them and tell them, send your stories. We'll be glad. They'll say they send it, but then they get busy. But look at this way. It's like one of your marketing efforts. So let the world know that you are there and what beautiful things you create and how you help the farming community. That'll be good for everyone.
Emilio, I see that you came on video. Welcome. Would you like to share a success of 2022?
Yeah, good morning. Sorry, I was getting up. It's too early here in LA. What to say? Actually, okay, I'm Emilio. I'm from Equatorial Guinea, and currently in California in a fellowship. So there at home, I work at the Ministry of Agriculture in Extension, and I'm trained in agricultural economics and business management. Also, I have some background in agronomy, and I do my research interests in agricultural economics policy. So in my country, as a matter of concern, I'm very interested in the development of coca sector, because it's the major agricultural sector of Equatorial Guinea. Traditionally, our country relied on agriculture, and coca used to be the main source of revenues for the country, yes, for many years. And I used to point out that Equatorial Guinea is one of the earliest places where coca, after coming from South America, the coca was grown in West Africa, very early places. And there is a lot of potential there to develop coca. As a person that works at very grassroots with farmers, there is a concern that even transcends the coca sector of industry, which is that small producers, small scales, I mean, small holders, they don't get enough of revenue out of the value chain. That happens also for coca sector. And one of the issues of the problems of lack of capital, lack of resources that these small scale farmers have, as Dr. Nisao Ogata just mentioned right now. And when I see the approach of Coca Town, it's actually something that passioned me, that encouraged me, because I see that with the Coca Town approach, a lot of things can be done. Small scale farmers around the world, when it's come to coca processing, they can get to achieve big things, something, what they're not getting to get now in coca value chain. And that is actually one of the things I want to do, like become a bridge between Coca Town, how the Coca Town technology and knowledge can reach small scale farmers in Equatorial Guinea. This is one of the things of my vision. I'm seeing how this can be possible in future, because I see the technology is friendly, and the fact that Coca-Cola doesn't only like sell machinery, but also there is kind of learning and process that they tend to pack together with the machinery that is small, to make sure that small scale farmers can get not just only the machine, but also the knowledge of how to use the machine. So is that more saying that is it? I'm not yet, although I'm passionate about chocolate, but I'm not a businessman in chocolate industry, although I would like to do that also. I'm just like kind of doing research. Recently, these days, I was talking with Dr. Nisao about some of the historical and background about the cocoa industry in my country. And actually, I'm working on that right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. We have had a few people join since I posed the question, so I'll ask again. Would anyone who's new like to share a highlight of their journey in 2022? Something that you'd like to share with us that you're excited about that happened in 2022? Oh, Mrs. Balu, you're on mute.
Sorry. Okay, and also feel free to introduce yourselves also.
Yes, if you just joined and you'd like to come on camera and introduce yourself, please do. And we can always come back to that question, but on the other side of that question is, did you have any struggle in 2022? Did you face a struggle in 2022? And if so, how did you overcome that struggle? Or are you still struggling and maybe you need some support from us, you know, here today, from the group? Mrs. Balu, any chance you have a struggle from 2020, 2022?
The struggle, you know, I would say it's not like, how do I say that? The struggle this year was only like the time management, you know. We all have only 24 hours. We had to do so many different things. So you give priority to one, the other one goes to the back burner and gets forgotten. So that's the time management is still my struggle. And there's, you know, as part of this 10 KSB program, in fact, I gave them the suggestion and give us some guidelines on time management. It looks easy, like when you study all these motivational messages, it looks easy, but then it comes to practicality, it's not. So maybe, you know, they should have like a 2 hours, 3 hours dedicated webinar for us that we can learn. But fortunately, when I had this, you know, the program and I had to do all these assignments, my sister-in-law was visiting from India for the first time, and then she took over the kitchen. So that was a big help. So even though I had struggled, but I also, you know, the God sent me the help. So I believe in God. So
Ian, I noticed that you turned on your camera. Would you like to share something?
Yes, I would like to ask Mrs. Balu if there's been any improvements. The last time we talked, they were trying to make like a way of joining the type of machines they make with solar panels. Is there been any improvement with what you were talking, Mrs. Balu?
We are still working on it. Like I said, some of the things went into the back burner. This is one of the things. We talked about it. We need to work on it. Hopefully in 2023, we can be, you know, give you a better answer.
If I can interject on that. Sorry, I'm not able to turn my camera on, but I'm Gary. I'm the engineer at Cocoa Town. We actually did consult a group of engineers the other day, and they did bring up a solution that might help accelerate getting solar panels. Some changes with some of our motors and some products. We have, we just spoke to them yesterday, and we're trying to get more information now. But there is some progress happening there.
Look at that. Inside scoop. You know before we know. All right, so for anyone who just joined, we are talking about successes and struggles in 2022. If you have a comment, feel free to open your mic. A struggle or a success.
Well, I'll go. I think I had mentioned earlier that my success is that I've got my 2 molds, and the second mold kind of came just inspiration. The first mold it's very, very customized. So it took a long time going back and forth to get the actual mold made. And the second one just kind of came like that, but it was a lot easier, but it was just one of those inspirations that just comes through. I think that my biggest struggle, because I ended up buying a new house. We bought a new house, and that was cool because now I have that 1,100 square feet over our garage that's just sitting there waiting for me to turn it into something. Because luckily enough, I'm originally from California, so I know where Davis is at. I've been there. you know, the big, like in California, you can't like have a home kitchen, but in North Carolina, you can have an in-home kitchen as long as it's, you know, certified by the USDA. And that particular section would be closed off to the fur babies, the dogs, you know, kind of thing, because that's necessary. My biggest struggle here in Western North Carolina, because I'm in the mountains, is getting people to do work. You know, I could get them to come out, look at the spot, give me a bid, and then I can't get anybody to show up to do the work. You know, so we're a real struggle around here because we have housing issues too. So they're trying to do, you know, there's a lot of contractors working on projects to either renovate houses or start low-income housing. So I'm battling with people that are doing bigger projects than me. So that's my biggest struggle. It's just getting people out to help me get mine set up so that I can start doing my chocolate, you know, in my own place rather than having to go out to find a kitchen. Because even in our area, that's limited as well. You know, there's, I think, maybe 2 places in the whole area that actually have where you can come in and use their kitchen, but they're booked all the time. You know, so getting the time, and then if you want to bring equipment in, you can leave it there and store it, but you know, you pay for that, which is fine, but just getting the space. So that's my biggest struggle. But I am originally from California, and it's so much better here because when I did chocolate years ago in California, I actually did it out of my aunt's donut shop because she had a registered food, you know, business. Because you just can't do that here, or you can do that here in your house, but you can't do that in California in your house. So that's a good side to it. I just need to get people to help me finish my project so I can get going.
Jennifer, have you thought about registering as like agricultural product or the agriculture department? Because in Georgia, you know, there are 2 different regulations for people taking it home and eating versus people eating it in the place. So look at that and talk to your local SBDC, and they may be finding a way to do it in your kitchen, because I know we have customers in Atlanta. They started in their apartment and took it to the farmers market, sold it, and then they bought a big place, and then now they're expanding more.
Yeah, you can do that. And the problem is here, and it's just that we have a dog. And the USDA will not allow any animals in the whole house. So that's why this section of the house is over the garage, and it can be completely shut off from the regular house. So the USDA would allow that. But right now I can't do it in my kitchen. And I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't feel comfortable because he sheds. He's not a anti-shedding dog. He sheds a lot. I mean, I shed, but I can cover myself. Once in a while I find a hair in my food, but it's mine. But I don't want to do that, you know? So, but it'll work out. And if I can't get them to do that, I will go out and find a kitchen locally. Because I thought of one, because one ice cream shop just opened up locally, and I'm thinking about going to them and to see if I can come in off hours, you know, because I'm a late night person. I can work through the night and they wouldn't be open then. So I have some other options, but I really, really want it in my house. So it's just a matter of getting that going as well. And I know it'll happen. You know, it's all looking good. It's all moving in the right direction. So, but we bought, like I said, we bought the house, and then all summer and well, all spring, summer, winter, we go to Florida. But in the spring and the summer, all I did was work on the house, you know, like the landscaping, you know, outside, doing this, moving, you know, rearranging things. So really was pretty preoccupied with a lot of other stuff. So it all works out, you know, it's all divine planning, in my opinion. You know, so now that the house is looking like we're pretty, you know, established, we don't mind other people coming in, because having contractors come in can be really disrupting to your lifestyle when you're trying to just be. So it's all good. It's all happening. It's all moving. So I'm really excited. And I'm really excited about seeing what you're coming out with here in 2023. Because I want to get our house on solar as well. So that'd be kind of cool. Plus the tabletop thing. That's real interesting.
Great, thank you for sharing. Anyone else have a struggle they want to share? Something they've struggled and they've overcome, or
the success, both? Because
or the success, yes. Struggle or success.
I'll
Or
share
both.
back to back.
Great.
The success wasn't mine, but I will say, just having come off of the Northwest Chocolate Festival, it was so exciting to see 20 makers from origin countries at the festival. So that was incredible. They are all doing really nice chocolate, many of them with local inclusions and very, flavors that are expressing their local food culture. My favorite was a Tom Kha bar out of Thailand. So those of you that are familiar with Tom Kha soup, that coconut, tomato, chili, lemongrass combination, managed to pull that off. It's the first time I've ever had candied tomato successfully in a chocolate bar.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was just really neat. And the Northwest Festival. So Brian, the founder, you can watch on Northwest right now. He hired a film crew to do a storytelling on every single one of the makers from Origin, or at least that's what maybe he's doing more than that, but it was at least those. So that was super exciting to see. We had the Women in Chocolate breakfast there, had I think over 80 people attending, which is also a growth. And so that's been really neat. And I was able to facilitate a few of those sessions. But on the challenge side, we have been working toward clean water in Honduras, our partners in Honduras, for at least 5 years. Still a challenge. However, we think we finally have a solution to do finished product in the community. So we're working towards that and starting to process this harvest. So definitely a challenge, but also super exciting to know that probably early next year we'll be able to relaunch from Honduras itself. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. I got the chills when you gave the number of at Origin makers that were at the festival. And then that you brought up some unique flavors. That was one of the questions that I have on my list, is to ask, if you're a chocolate maker or even starting out, do you sample your, other people in the industry's chocolate, so that you can learn? And did you have a favorite? And so Kim kind of started us off with that question, and all the questions are ongoing. So if you think of a struggle or a success, feel free to jump in with that. But then also I have the question of, do you sample other, in this industry, I don't like to say competitor, because everyone is it's like a big giant family where we're all, trying to help each other. So not necessarily competitor, but your fellow makers. Do you try their chocolate? And if so, what's your favorite? What's something you've learned from doing that?
Kel raised his hand. You can open your mic, Kel.
Yeah, I'm just going to get away from the rest of the family here, so it's not too much disturbing. So that's one of the really fun parts about being into bean to bar chocolate, to be able to taste other people's chocolates. I live in Norway, or we live in Norway, but my wife is English, so we are in England quite a few times. And we had this summer, I was Googling if there were any bean to bar makers in Liverpool. And the same day we were there, I sent the question if it was possible to come visit. And of course, that's another beauty of the bean to bar community. They're so open and so willing to share. So we went to visit, they call Table Chocolate in Liverpool. And they kind of received us as old friends and let us taste all the chocolate and see their equipment. And that was both a big highlight to be able to be part of that community almost, and also to taste their chocolate. And of course, I ordered some chocolates sent to my father-in-law, so we had quite a sample of quite a few different chocolates, and that's really interesting, both in thinking about what kind of chocolate you want to make yourself, but also what kind of chocolate other people are making, and how different it can be, even if it's from the same bean. That was pretty much it.
Great, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to jump in? And
Jennifer, somebody is asking, can you put the link to, Jennifer is asking, Kim Wilson, if she can put the link to the video for the Northwest Chocolate Festival makers that you are mentioning. Thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to watching that too.
And there are a lot of other new people came. Why nobody's talking? Please, this is like conversation. It's not like a big group. It's only a small group. So open up, please. Maybe I'm going to call names. Lou.
Well, I will share a little, almost like a confession about my artisan chocolate obsession. I have Dr. and Mrs. Balu, wherever they travel, bring back, I give them a budget, and then I say, bring back chocolate for me. And it's something I have to get over. I don't eat it. I have it all stockpiled. I'm hoarding it. It's like I haven't been able to break it. Like I have one bar from one cacao in Jamaica, and I'm like, well, once I open it, I have to eat it all, and then it'll be gone. Then I won't have the bar from Jamaica sitting there waiting for me to experience it. I have bars from their trip to Dominican Republic. I have kind of dipped into those a little bit, but sort of something I have to overcome is I don't get to experience it in that basket on the wee top shelf in my kitchen where nobody else can get to it. But I have, 50 bars or more that I haven't opened, just waiting to be experienced. Yeah, so that's my chocolate bar confession.
I'll pop in there real quick, Teresa, and just
Yeah.
say that I'm from the wine. My background previously is in the wine industry, and that's super normal. So don't be ashamed, but do know that there is an optimal time to eat your chocolate, and you have passed it if it's sitting in your cabinet for that
You're
long.
right.
So
You're
just
right.
don't allow it to be wasted. It's great in that first 6 to 12 months. So
You're
just give
right.
yourself permission.
You're right. I have this grand idea that I'm going to make a video about every bar I taste to try to help the makers and get it out there to the average person about how wonderful this stuff is. And when we get off, I'm going to make a commitment and sort of an accountability thing. When this is over, I'm going to go and open at least 3 bars. I'll open the ones that have the most timely expiration date.
Teresa, maybe I can help you. I'll tell you, if you start eating, then tell me how many you ate. I will bring you that many more from the new when I visit the other countries. So you'll always have some stock, so you don't have to worry about it running out.
I do know there's some waiting from Salon de Chocolate in Dr. Balu's office. So
Yeah, I do the same thing. I've got tons of it. I eat very, very little. I have a slight caffeine intolerance, so I don't eat too much of it, plus sugar. However, Kim mentioned wines. I went to the central part of California, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and got into viticulture there. But what I do is I put my chocolate in my wine set cooler because it helps it stay longer. Just a thought.
anybody else want to share about tasting chocolate, eating chocolate flavor profiles that they like? I would love to hear from folks in origin countries, or making chocolate from a specific region. Is there a flavor profile that is specific to where you are?
Or any special ingredient that you're using from your origin that we don't know the other countries don't know about it.
I was going to add, when Kim, you were talking about all the origin chocolate makers using ingredients. I know that since I was getting ready for launch, I was definitely ordering a lot of chocolate just to see like what was out there. And I mean, I agree with, I don't know how you pronounce your name. I think it's Gel that's kind of like the best part of starting this. So I know there's a maker, there's Loon Chocolate in Nigeria. that produces a lot of really amazing chocolate with ingredients from Nigeria. So I ordered so much chocolate from her brand before I launched. But I just started, but for my launch, I had 2 unique flavors. One was a suya. There's a West African seasoning called suya spice. It's usually eaten with like steak, like beef. So it's a little different to have it in chocolate. So that was one unique one I had. And then there's a ginger with like plantain chips that I also have, but that's actually one of the challenges I'm also having on how long that plantain chips can actually last in the chocolate. It's not really a long time. So I don't think I'm going to use that one long term. It was just for the launch, but so that's one challenge, but it's also something that I've been trying out different products.
Nice.
That'll be good because in India we eat plantain chips. They, coat it with jaggery and the dried ginger.
Ooh, yeah.
It's really tasty. Like one part of India, they make it, which is called Kerala. I
What's
love
it called?
it. The state is called Kerala,
Canada.
and then they have a lot of bananas growing, and they make a lot of, they have a lot of bananas and jackfruit, and this is one of my favorite chips. So maybe you should, launch it as a limited edition.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think it'll work long term. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed trying like different makers and all the inclusion stages.
I think Balu wanted to talk. I think I saw him coming in.
No. I was good. So somebody mentioned about caffeine intolerance, and then they were saying so avoiding chocolate.
Yeah.
So even though theobromine is not exactly the same thing as caffeine, so caffeine, who was allergic to caffeine, they are also allergic to chocolate.
No, I actually, the caffeine in chocolate is so low that it doesn't really bother me in that, but it's a combination with the sugar. So I just eat very little. That's, that's just me, but I can't drink coffee. I can't drink Cokes, or guys, I'll get sick because of the caffeine.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the clarity.
It doesn't stop me from buying, eating, and sharing all my chocolate with everybody I know. I love baking with chocolate, it's wonderful.
Yes, hi.
Go ahead, Emilio.
Yeah, I was saying, I will not mention about ingredients because I don't make chocolate yet. But eating, I'm a huge, big eater of chocolate. I cannot stop eating chocolate. Right now, I'm just a little concerned as I'm getting older, I might say. I'm beginning to have concern about health, and then because of sugar, I try to moderate my chocolate eating. But I love it too much. And in my country, what I also do now is I eat the seeds of coca. So I go to wherever they are for farmers, then they sell like bottles of coca, maybe $1.6 per one kg or 1 kg and a half, and like roasted one, dried one from field. Yeah, I also think that could be maybe another industry of selling coca beans as a snack, And there are some people that have said that it has very good effect for health, but that is something that would also have to be also studied, like how coca beans can benefit health. So I eat them a lot, and that essence of coca beans also attracts me. I like smelling it, eating them. So that's what I could share. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mrs. Balu, you're muted.
Kim, do you want to follow up on what Emilia said, what you're doing? And is she there?
Yeah, she's here.
I'm here. Sorry, I was just typing something to Ian that I thought might be helpful. Anyway, yeah. So I actually do. We've been doing a cacao snack since I think 2015. It's so it's a peeled cacao bean with just cane sugar, herbs, and spices on it, and that's something that we're starting. That the whole goal of that was something that could be made from beginning to end in farming communities that doesn't melt, because I like to say God is very smart, and I don't think he made a mistake when he planted cacao in warm tropical environments. So I'm pretty sure that chocolate was not plan A. So from that perspective, trying to figure out other things that are much more conducive to the environments where chocolate is grown. So that was our first attempt at doing something. But I'm happy to share more behind the scenes. Feel free to DM me with, or anyone here, DM me with your information. And we're not secretive about what we do, but we do want to make sure that it's primarily for the farming communities, because it's something that we want to create something where communities have the competitive advantage. So yeah.
Yeah, the other thing we have been promoting for a long time is the farmers selling as a nips or as a couverture. That we have been promoting, but for origin countries, see, if you sell it as a couverture, then you don't have to worry about tempering, melting, and the extra packaging, because they're expensive to ship. So you send it as a couverture, and then we always encourage the community to interact with each other. You send your couverture, you get other people's couverture and sell each other's, and you will learn new flavors. Your customers will have wide variety, and you are not competing, you are collaborating. So if you look at that way, when compared to all the other industries, because most of the industries people say they don't share anything, but chocolate industry is very open, because I think I tell them, hey, when you eat chocolate, you're happy. So when you're happy, you are open. So it's very collaborative community. So that's another thing that origin countries can do.
I wanted to invite, and forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but I'm going to try Usario. Would you like to open your mic or turn on your camera and make your comments? Otherwise, I'm happy to read it for you. From Nicaragua. Oh, beautiful. You're on mute, Usario. There
Hi.
you go.
Hi. My name is Irene. How are you?
Hi, Irene.
I don't speak very well English. Maybe by the reason I'm going to have very mistake in my speaker, but I need your help in order to produce chocolate, because I have a farm that is producing cacao now, and with cacao criollo, and we are doing a fermentation, and we are trying to avoid the contamination in our land with the part of the cacao that is outside, is that we know like mazorca. When we cut the cacao, inside we have the semillas, the bean, and outside is the other part of the cacao. And we are trying to use in the best way this part. And the other the other part to be used to produce chocolate. And we don't have a big quantity of production yet, but we need to produce chocolate, and I don't know the size of the equipment that we need. Maybe you could help me. I think you are the best.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have understood that I talk.
Yes, Irene, very good.
And Irene, your English is good. Don't feel bad. You know, we understood you very well.
Yes.
So you are trying to say that you have a small farm and you wanted to make chocolate, and also you want to use the husk, right? Because I have seen a lot of people make the husk tea from the cocoa husk.
Mrs. Balu, she's actually talking about the pod. The mazorca is the pod.
Oh, mazorca is the pod. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
The mazorca pod is also used in a lot of different cultures. When I went to Peru, I got hold of a cookbook. It's in Spanish. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, but still I brought the book. It has the different recipes that you can make with the rind, the mazorca part of it. And also in Mexico, there is a chef called Nancy. She makes jelly out of that.
Pectina, I think. Yes, I was reading a lot about the people of Ecuador are studying a lot in the universities in order to produce pectina, and at the same time to produce some kind of fertilizantes or product to help in our lands and avoid the production of yeast and mold and other kind of bad material that are produced by condition of water, time, temperature, and good quality of food that are the best condition to produce yeast and mold. And that the reason is that I worry because I want to continue with my quality of health and the health of our world. We need to have not only chocolate, we need to have good quality of land, of water to continue living. Is that my production, my preoccupation, not only by produce chocolate, but also to have one way good to work with cacao. I don't know if you have some kind of machine to cook the mazorca. Sorry, I don't remember the name. But I need to talk with you.
I'm thinking about composting the pod, but I wonder if Dr. Ogata is still here, and does he have any comment or feedback for Irene?
And also Andrew, if you want to come after Dr. And talk, he made some comments. So I would like to invite him to talk also.
Excuse me. I'm happy to be with you. Thank you by hearing me.
We're happy that you're here. Irene, Dr. Ogata's come on, and I think maybe he might have some feedback for you.
No, the last part I didn't understand it because it was chopped the sound. So if you can repeat the last part.
And Irene, I think if you want to tell Dr. Ogata in Spanish.
Oh, that's right.
Feel free.
Sí, dígame.
Mira, uno de los problemas que tengo es que yo quiero procesar la cáscara es decir, la mazorca también, para evitar contaminaciones de mi medio ambiente de finca o contribuir al buen ambiente de nuestros productores, porque la mayoría de nuestros productores son gente del campo, son campesinos. Yo soy química, entonces, pero la mayor parte de nuestros productores son gente del campo, entonces a ellos les interesa nada más el cacao para vender la semilla a los grandes productores de chocolate del mundo que lo compran aquí. Hasta ahora estamos iniciándonos para producir de la semilla al chocolate en nuestro país. Yo aún no lo inicio, pero me gustaría saber si ellos pueden producir algo para cortar el cacao de la mazorca y después pedirles ayuda de qué equipos necesito tener, sobre todo para hacer el chocolate no en gran escala, porque mi finca no es enorme, o para contribuir a que otros lo hagan en una forma similar y no vendamos el cacao a Suiza, a Alemania, sino que los latinoamericanos consumamos algo que es tan tan saludable para nuestro organismo, como lo hacían nuestros indios. Ujú.
Okay, this is what I was talking at the beginning, and what I was saying is that small producers like in Mexico or in Nicaragua, what they need is what I call the minimum unit of production for chocolate. And the key of all this, because I have already tested, is the small machine from Cocoa Town for 2.5 kilograms. That for me has worked very well, because if you start with that and a piece of marble, then you can produce high quality chocolate. And with this beginning, then you can make calculations to see if it works. Then you can upgrade to a bigger size chocolate machine. So I think we are sharing basically the same problem, either in Africa, in South America, Latin America, Mexico, and that is the main problem, is that there cannot be economical development from cocoa because the producers are forced to sell just the seeds. For example, in Mexico, if I am a cacao producer and I want to sell the seeds, let's say to United States, there is no taxes. But if I make chocolate and I want to insert it in the United States market, I have to pay taxes. And then it's basically impossible to compete with the big brands that are already established in the States. That's just one example. Regarding the pod, the mazorca, I think the best that I can see is to get rid of it, because in the pod is where the monilia grows. And then if you leave the pods outside in one day of rain and wind, you will spread the contamination all over the plantation. What we have been doing in southern Mexico in some places is that sometimes campesinos pick the most beautiful one, aesthetically speaking, and then they right away dry it. And with a very thin drill, they make like figures and things like that. And it's sold as a handcraft. but it's basically that. I won't recommend to make use of the pods because of the high probability for contamination. That's my opinion.
And it
Thank
sounds
you.
like that's probably what Irene was sharing. She doesn't want to contaminate the, she doesn't want to
Exactly.
contaminate the land and the water.
What people do usually is they bury it, and when there is an covered, and when it is rotten enough, it is helpful for as a fertilizer.
Mhm. Maybe. I want to try. To try.
But the interesting thing, I was reading a paper several months ago where they are highlighting that the main trend nowadays towards where the chocolate industry need to shift is towards the handmade chocolate, ¿cómo le llaman? Chocolate tradicional, something like that. And that means small scale. And the main reason is because the way the cacao is being produced nowadays is becoming one of the worst ways of contamination and disappearing of the biodiversity. So it needs to shift into what the way it was in pre-Hispanic times, and that is to grow the cacao in the shade, not in the sun, because in the sun is what is devastating most of the lands in Ivory Coast, Ghana, Cameroon, and bringing a lot of problems. And that is contributing to the climate change. So in this way of thinking, the paper was mentioning that the highest production of this handmade chocolate is conducted in the United States, in France, and Italy.
Alemania too.
This is the main places where the production of this kind of chocolate that uses a small amount of chocolate and a small machinery. But the problem, the biggest problem to solve or to contribute for the economy of small producers with 0.5 to 2 hectares is to bring machinery like the one that Cocoa Town produces and start with a training for the producers and show them the whole path. For example, I am working trying to set up a small production of chocolate in one of the poorest areas in the mountains of Mexico. And there we have a problem. There is no money. But this area is very well known for tourism. It's the place where these wild mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms are grown, and there a lot of tourists go there. So what we managed to start with is that we are gonna be selling chocolate at 2 different prices. If someone from the community goes there and asks you for a chocolate in Mazatec language, it will be 1/4 of the original price. And in this way, we will contribute for the people to eat chocolate, and the tourists that have money pay a fair price for this kind of endeavors. So what I mean is that we have to use the imagination in trying to solve the economy of the producers, because otherwise there's not gonna be more chocolate.
Hmm. Thank you, Dr. Ogata. And if you want to hear more from Dr. Ogata, he did a webinar for us when money grew on trees, and that link will be available relatively soon on YouTube, so you can hear more. Dr. Ogata, I wonder, would you be open to having Irene contact you? Maybe put your information in the chat, and
Sure.
you can continue the conversation offline.
Give
Okay.
her my email, please.
Okay.
Okay,
Please.
very good. And Andrew, I wanted to invite you to come in and share your comment.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello. Buenos
Hello,
dias.
welcome.
También. Well, I'm on my way to Mexico on the 12th, and I'm listening to what they were saying. And I spent time in Comacalco in Mexico, where I worked with a producer, and then I work in Jamaica as well. And one thing I know about the pod for sure is the big producers immediately put it back into the ground. It's the best composting, along with the outside shell. When you crack and winnow, you can't get better for the ground. And
Yes.
another thing to do is with the pod, we make what we call African black soap. Because if you take the pod and mix it with the plantain rind and cook that up with water, you have one of the best soaps that you can actually ever have. So there is a way to use all parts of it. And also, when you're a small producer, before or even after you ferment, if you carefully crack and winnow, the shell is one of the best teas that you can have. And it has all the nutrients of cacao without the caffeine. So what I'm doing in Jamaica is I make sure we use all of it. And on my way now, I'm going to the Yucatan in a couple of weeks. And I wanted to know where in Mexico the gentleman was talking about, because I don't know if that's up in Chiapas.
No, it's in Oaxaca.
In Oaxaca, bueno, cerca de Guatemala.
No. It's Oaxaca is
It's in Mexico.
close with Veracruz.
Veracruz?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's close to Veracruz. This area is very well known because the cacao that grows there.
Yes.
The area is called La Chinantla. And
Okay.
that area was not reported by Hernan Cortés when he realized that cacao was money, because he wanted those plantations for his daughter. But he was caught and the plantations were taken. But in pre-Hispanic time, that area grew cacao as much as in Tabasco.
See. I was just gonna say, when you're a small producer, one of the best things from my experience is to partner with someone in another country, because you don't have chocolate until you add that sugar and the cocoa butter, but you have what I call ceremonial cocoa when you just make what they call cocoa liquor. Let's just say they're gonna call it that. But I do know, especially in Mexico, they like to use cinnamon and other things. The best coffee chocolate I've ever had was in San Cristobal de las Casas. And that's, and they do it the way they do it. But the small producers with 1-2 hectares, talk to me. I have an idea. Because when you partner with someone up here, I believe we can get more for their money. And when it comes to taxes, if you're gonna make chocolate in the United States, of course, our price point is really good. I specialize myself in medical chocolate, and you mentioned the mushrooms, and I have in the Seattle area, It's legal. So I have been teaching people microdosing and working with that way, because the specialty chocolate people, they buy so much more and they don't help the small person. The best way that I've worked with is when they only have a couple of hectares. How many bags do we get? And then we come and we get those bags. We pay for them right there, and then we put them at point of sales in the United States when we turn it into chocolate here. And that is what I've been working with for years. As my brother-in-law in Jamaica, he's at point of sales. I'm presently selling what we call cocoa tea. I would nutmeg and cinnamon leaf and cacao from Jamaica, and I've got a market in the Northwest. It's small, but it's growing. And whenever there's a small producer, it's actually the best way to partner direct with someone here. So I have 3 whetstone grinders in Jamaica. My brother-in-law makes the cocoa liquor, or he'll do the cocoa tea. It's not chocolate, it's cacao, it's cocoa. It's not chocolate until you add, add cocoa butter and sugar. And so until you make chocolate, it's a tea, or we tell the people at the airport, it's just cocoa. And I bring it on. I have brought, personally, I bring 150 pounds with me on the airplane with JetBlue. And I do that. I've been doing this for years because I work direct, and it's okay, it's legal to bring in chocolate. So I'm doing it. I'm about to do it again. I'm on my way on the 12th. Oh no, on the 20th. What is it? No, the 12th. I'm going to Puerto Morelos, which is sur de Cancun. And from there, I'm going to go to Merida because I'm looking for chocolate in Mexico again. And like I say, I tell you, the pod makes the best soap. You want to make soap with it, or you want to use fertilizer. You have no waste, and it helps the land later. I don't know about the mold. I haven't experienced the mold. And when I was in Camacalco, which is in Tabasco or Veracruz, I think, I forget.
Tabasco.
Tabasco. And I was there. He said that the owner, he just said, first of all, it's the best to put right back into the land first. But it was in Jamaica and in actually Nicaragua, where they make what they call African black soap. You can immediately make one of the best soaps, natural and another source of income, so that you will see 3 incomes coming off a small piece of land as opposed to just one. That's what I mean, this is personal experience, and I'm on my way to do it again because it's snowing in Seattle and I'm too cold and I need to leave.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew. Great, some very great points there. And one is about connection. And so I just wanted to bring up the point. If anyone wants to connect with anyone else, feel free to use that chat section. Put your contact information, who you'd like to connect with, anything that that you feel like you can share with one another. This is your chance,
Okay.
while we're here together. Put your information in. If you're open to being contacted, put your information there. If you want to contact someone, use that chat section and let's connect with each other. So thank you. Great point. Mrs. Barlow, I see you want to say something, and then I have some other questions.
No, I'm like trying to talk to Andrew and see, he has so much information. Can you give us a separate webinar on, like how to make soap and other income for the small farmers?
Oh,
That
I
will
would
be
love
a
to.
huge help for the farmers, small farmers.
And in fact, that's my specialty. My grandfather was a farmer, a sharecropper. My great-grandfather was a farmer. My great-great-grandfather were farmers in the US. And in our history, I understand the plight of the small farmer. I used to be a specialist in coffee. I used to import coffee from Mexico, from Oaxaca and Chiapas and Gilitla. And I used to go straight there. I go all the way up there. I usually don't like to make it in the US. And we have a good market when you do that. I'll put in the chat, I have a company called Troubadour Chocolate with my brother. And this week, I will start my cocoa tea, but we also call that ceremonial cocoa. That's what we do. And that way we're able to get a price point that is superior to chocolate. And I'm serious. In the United States, you'll make more with your ceremonial cocoa than you'll ever make with chocolate. And that's what I'll be doing this week. And also, like I say, I work with some, in this state and in Seattle, psilocybin mushrooms are decriminalized. And there's a lot of work where people are using it for medical reasons. And I specialize with people here for that as well. So that the mental health of what that's all about, it's too far to go into right now. But I believe the small farmer has a chance when we decide on our own to go and say, let's work together. Let's work together. We don't need
Okay.
that much money. We just need to cover costs and a profit.
Okay, Andrew, we have you on recording saying that you'll do a webinar in 2023. So I've written your name down. I'm putting you on the list. And that brings up another point, Mrs. Balu. Anyone that has something that they want to share, has a expertise or something that they want to share through a webinar, please reach out to us and let's see how we can get you on the 2023 calendar. If you have a special project, I know, Kim, you have some things that you're doing. We'd love to invite you to come in and give a webinar. And Dr. Ogata, anyone that is open or would like to do a webinar, we would love to have a dialogue about that. I see Lucia is asking for some information. Lucia, do you want to come on camera and ask your question, or would you like me to ask your question? Okay, she has a question about wanting to make sugar-free chocolate and wants to know, has anyone used stevia or erythritol? And we do have some webinars where that's been talked about. And so we can, if you check our YouTube channel, those will start showing up on YouTube very soon. But anyone in the quarry have any feedback on using sugar substitutes?
Mike, for Lucia, till we put it on the YouTube, we can still watch it if you send us an email that you want to watch it, because we had the last webinar with Dr. Beata, and she talked about how to use the right, stevia, not the stevia powder that you get, because that has a lot of, other substances, because stevia is like 1,000 times sweeter than the sugar. So they put the fillers, because when you put in the coffee, you need to know how much to put. So she gave a good webinar on it, and also I think if you want to connect with her, we can make the connection for you, so she can help you with that. And then okay, I would like to, somebody, I cannot see the name, but they said the area of expertise in packaging. Would you like to open up your mic and talk?
They're offering to do a webinar, I think, which is very exciting. Yes.
But yeah, they're not. No, I don't see those notes. I don't know. Okay.
So I wanted to, Mrs. Balu, if it's okay, shift the conversation a little bit.
Sure.
And talk about kind of the not as glamorous, fun, exciting parts of business in general, and talk about maybe some things related to how you do business or how we do business. And I think some of these questions will come out of some experience that we're having is, in creating a new website and working on, always working on trying to get better at marketing ourselves. We want to know from you guys, your experience with things like copywriting. How do you find a copywriter, and what do you look for in a copywriter? For your website, for your promotional materials, even email. Anyone have any insight or comment?
I think that one point that could be very nice to highlight for your company would be to make these connections between your machinery and the people in the small areas where this machinery is very, very highly needed.
Yes, thank you for that, Dr. Ogata. And we have all the great stories and things that we want to put out to the world, but are sort of limited in how to tell that story. So we're trying to find, trying to find a copywriter that can take, for example, what you've just said and put it out there to the world in a way that necessarily we don't have time being a small company and wearing a lot of hats, and then also maybe not being as crafty of a wordsmith. So, and then in that question, hopefully we want to help others that, maybe just writing a website or just writing promotional materials, when you're thinking about that, what is a resource for finding a copywriter? Maybe Kim can answer. Do you write your own copy? Are you, as a small business, I know y'all are wearing so many hats. What do you do?
In my case, you can use my materials. There's no problem with copyrights because most of it is made by my own or the people who work with me. So
yeah, what we need is somebody to write it.
How to write it?
Right. I guess let me be clear. Copywriter is not like a, like trademark or anything like. It's someone to write the copy. We need somebody to help us write the copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do write my own. And I feel like, and what I love hearing, and I don't think, just to encourage everybody here, tell your own story. You're the expert on your own story. I will say, like, a few things that, we've done some surveys with our customers in the past. They want very short snippets with photos or video or short videos, like, and you can see kind of the trends of what's going on in social media. Like, they don't have patience for more than a minute or two anymore. Unless you're trying to learn, unless it's somebody coming in trying to learn something, then, so I would just say, tell it in your own voice, try to keep it to a sentence or two. If it's longer than that, make sure there's space breaks so people want to read down further versus just skimming. And if, try to bold or title keywords, things like that give people the gist of it, so that, again, they want to keep reading if it's more than a few sentences. Those would be some of the things that I've learned.
Oh, thank you. That's a great tip about bolding the keywords. I hadn't thought of that.
Kim, nice to see you, Kim, again. I haven't seen you for a long time. That's a good point. I think you are the best person to tell your story, more than anybody else. That's a good wording, coming from you. We have a lot of content. The struggle we have is sitting down and writing down and adding the right words and making it like a superlative with degrees and using the right words. It may be easily done, but somebody has to put the content in a paragraph. If somebody can give a seminar on, how you can tell your story in your own words, that may be a good one.
And in case you don't know, that's the voice of Dr. Balu, co-founder of CocoTown.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't turn the video on.
That's okay. We'd love to see you if you want to come.
I'm here.
Ah, there he is.
Yeah. Maybe anybody in the group, I think maybe Teresa, we have to find somebody who can who can help people to develop their own copywriting skills.
Yes, I think that'd be, we've had several webinars on the concept of storytelling, and it's a great concept, you know, and that it's a value and a benefit to your business. But then maybe we need to go a little deeper and it's like, okay, yes, you have all the great ideas, but how do you put the pen to the paper? How do you get the, how do you come up with the words to tell the story? Or is it, to Kim's point, maybe they're short videos. I know from my experience, being the one trying to help with that part of the business, getting the key players that can tell those stories, Dr. and Mrs. Balu, when they're trying to run a business, it's hard to pin them down and get even 5 minutes to get, you know, I know for small business owner, maybe sometimes you're the only one. It's one person running the business, doing everything, writing the copy, creating the website on a simple platform, making the chocolate, selling the chocolate. So it's a gentle balance, and maybe only take on as much as you can handle.
Somebody put something in their a comment. I mean, there is a free webinars available on copywriting, something like that.
Right? Yeah, that's Kim put that
Oh, okay.
in the chat. Yeah. And we will copy the chat and make that available with the recording of the webinar.
It wasn't me. It was,
Oh.
we don't know their name, but the one from Cadbury put that in. Or that used to be with Cadbury. Sorry.
Got it. I see. You're
Wanted
right.
credit to go where it's due.
Thank you. I just saw your name in the comment and thank you. Thank you. Let me see. What other business related questions might we have?
His name is Ron Jamison. Ron, or would you like to talk?
One of the things you can do too is just look at other people's websites. You know, just go through and look at all the other, you know, chocolatiers that are out there, see what they put down, and then do your own thing. But it gives you an idea. You know, if they're successful, there must be a reason. So just keep searching. Just go on the web all the time and constantly look.
Good point. Yeah.
The problem is finding the time to do that, because if you don't even have time to tell your story, where do you have time to go see other people's websites?
I don't sleep a lot, but that's okay.
Yes, and that's a great point. We can all learn from each other. You know, you learn from each other and put your own spin on it. So, oh, Ron says this doesn't have a camera. That's okay. We're just glad you're here. Just shift to another question, unless Mrs. Balu or Dr. Balu have something else they want to share on that point. I have a question. I'm curious about reviews. Do you make your purchasing decisions based on reviews, or do you read reviews on yourself? I'm curious about, you know, what do you think about reviews?
I read reviews more than the content of the product. Read reviews, really take it serious, but I start with all the negative reviews, because then I can easily figure out who are all whining. Really, I mean, no, this is make a big deal about small things, and read the reviews in with the context that, okay, what is important, why I'm buying this product. Do anybody have a comment on that product related to the reason why I'm buying? So, I mean, I filter out the bad reviews that really doesn't make any sense. Then I learn something from the reviews and say, okay, now if this is, then I see how many people are complaining about that issue. Then I think I make a decision, you know, it's okay to buy that product, even though somebody complained about that one. I know what to expect when I get a product. You really seriously read the reviews.
I do the same thing. I won't, you know, I buy a lot of things on Amazon because it's easy, and I am constantly looking at reviews. I mean, it's to me, it's very important. You know, because there's things that I've thought I wanted to get, and I'll end up buying a different brand or whatever, just based on, hey, there's a problem with this one. And you can see a thread. It usually has to be like more than one, not just a complainer, because there's people out there that'll complain about everything. But, if there's a constant thread going on, like this particular product does this, and I don't want it to do that, I won't buy it. So I think they are important. And in the chocolate industry, problem with chocolate is that everybody's idea of the best flavors and what have you, they're distinctly your own. So on those kind of reviews, it's more about, did the person deliver it when they said they were going to deliver it? Did I get what I was expecting when I ordered it? Did it get here in a timely manner? Did it come, packaged so that it didn't melt on the way, etc. Because chocolate, when you're a food product, it's really about what you like. So I'm willing to, I'm not going to look at a review that's going to say what the flavor is. I want to know about the company themselves. Their reputation is more important in that aspect.
A lot of great points.
The
Mrs. Balu?
follow-up to that is, how do you make your customers write a review? There is, sometimes people say, I didn't buy Coco Town because I couldn't find the review. So I'm just curious, how do you make people to write?
See, in that respect, I wouldn't look for a review on that. I go to our industry. I've seen, like I said, I went to Chocolat Escalade, and I know that you have a reputation, and I've looked at your machinery and I compare it. And I've actually called people in Atlanta before. I don't remember who I spoke with, but on that kind of stuff, you won't see, I don't think you're going to see like negative reviews anyway. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to specialized machines, because this is specialized machinery. This isn't like, your widgets that you buy, from somewhere. So it's more about, do you fit my needs? And like for me, I want to be able to expand my business. So I want to start, like, say if I start with tempering machine, I want to make sure that machine is connected, has connectivity to everything down the line that I want to do in the future. And that's a different decision. It's completely different on that. But, reviews of the company themselves, you're still in business, and you've been in business for a long time. And I know that. And I've spoken. And the other thing too, is whenever I've reached out, because I have reached out to your company in the past, and somebody responds right away, that means a lot to me. Whether it's an email, because sometimes I'll just do it by email. As long as they get back to me, that's like gold, in my opinion. I was talking to a guy who was overseas, we talked for a long time back and forth by email, and it's just the response, noticing that I'm there and I'm asking a question and answering that question. And that's, I think, where you build your reputation in something that's as specialized as cacao making industry, that machinery. So it's a little different than just regular retail marketing type stuff.
Great points. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. And I will say, as someone that helps answer the emails, I don't know why I need to defend this, but if we don't get back to you right away, it's where we're doing what we want to. We have it in our heart to, and we'll do the best we can to get to you as soon as we can. Sometimes we feel the clock ticking and we don't get the emails back as fast as we want to, but we do want to.
No, just reasonable amount of time. And now that I think, that's probably where I recognized your name from, is from an email.
Yep, small business. We're all wearing, depending on what moment it is, we're all wearing a different hat. Yeah. Yep. Let's see, Mrs. Butler, you have any more input or deeper dive on that?
I have a comment on that.
Oh,
See,
great.
people, the writing reviews, the people who write the bad reviews, they are and they read the review and see how they wrote, they are the people who are going to write good reviews. So if you can find somebody who is writing a bad review, and if you can convince them, and then they will be writing a good review. I mean, when you ask somebody, can you go and write a review on that? Writing a review is like a copywriter. They have to use the right words. They have to say the right thing the right way. It's not all the people who write the reviews. Not everybody is good in writing reviews. We have to really identify the people who can write the good review, who can write the reviews in general, either good or bad, and then see if we can convince them to write a good review.
Looking over my notes here to see what other questions I have. I think Mrs. Balu's question was, how do you solicit reviews? I think, right, Mrs. Balu, was what you're thinking is that, you know, Google likes reviews. And so when you know a customer has a good experience, sometimes we don't want to brag about ourselves and we don't want to ask others to brag for us. I mean, the sort of the ethereal us, anyone. You know, how do you encourage or invite people
I mean,
to support your brand?
the companies like Uber, that's what they decided. I mean, no, they used to ask people to write reviews, but now they have divided into two parts. One is writing a review using words and sentences. Other one is they identify the points that are important to you, are important to everyone, and then see that, okay, now I'm not going to ask you to write a detailed story, but okay, like Airbnb, when we go on rent, they say, okay, how was the bathroom? How was the bedroom? How was the air conditioning? So they identify all the significant things that's important to the consumer, and then ask, okay, how do you rate in that one star to 1 to 5? So really, people, though, even though they don't know how to write a good review, they can just select the stars, 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars. So their companies are trying to make use of that system in complement with the rest writing a wordy review.
That's a great point. That's a very great point. It's like sort of rate your experience, and these are the key things that we'd like you to rate, because we want to know about those things so that we can improve.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for, especially like for a complex sale like you guys have with your machinery, to have all those different aspects. I would say for chocolate makers, or for those of us that are in the more simple sales process, find a good app. So Shopify has stuff that works completely integrated, automatically sends emails and follow-up emails, and then automatically populates it to your site. And so those types of things are make things a lot easier. And I have not offered rewards for that, but I do know that they encourage people to do that. So that would also be an option, is, you know, you get a certain amount off your next order if you give us a review or something like that. I've seen that as a suggestion to get more reviews. But I will say, to those of you that are making chocolate or selling something direct to consumer, having reviews on your site is an unfortunate game changer in terms of, you know, like people expected, particularly in the US, if they've been shopping on Amazon, they're expecting to see reviews, and you will see a significant change in your product sales based on the number of reviews and the stars of the reviews, for sure.
Let's see, I just wanted to read some of Ron's comments. When it comes to equipment, people need to know how robust it is, how easy it is to use or learn how to use it, and support by the manufacturer. Those would be important points in a review. And then he also adds, as a marketer, I'm concerned about asking someone to review. That's promotion, not a genuine review. Better to reach out to satisfied customers and ask them to provide comments. Okay, I just want to check and make sure we've got everyone's question or comment in the chat. Did I miss anything? We're getting close to the top of the hour. Where did the 2 hours go?
Yeah, we can open it. Anybody else has any questions that they would like to get help from others?
Yes, please. Anyone have any business related or process related, any questions? It's your chance to pick the brain of your peers. I know the people are looking for contact information of each other, so be sure to check that chat. Andrew, I think the person that you're looking to contact with is not here anymore.
Her contact information, though, is higher up in the chat, just above yours, Andrew. She
Oh,
shared her
great.
email.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kim, for watching that chat for us.
I think if there is nothing else, they can wrap it up.
Mrs. Butler, we did mention in our promotion that we were open to feedback about what topics you might like to hear in 2023. What webinar topics would you like to learn more about? And then also, if you want to share some feedback about the webinars, anything that you like, anything you'd like us to do differently, now's your chance. I'm gonna get my pen so I can take notes. So any topics you'd like us to cover? If you've been coming to the webinars, something that you like about it, and maybe something that you want to see us change or do differently.
I'm talking out loud or like brainstorming out loud right now, but
Great.
I can't remember if it was Andrew's comment or Dr. Oh, what was his name? From Mexico. Yeah, Ugato. Maybe having some sort of like matching where it's like you can have like someone at origin with someone here, like do some sort of matching so they can get to know each other and and learn from one another, because I feel like each of us have one side of the story, right? We have the, and so I just think it would be really interesting to do some sort of matching. Yeah. And Andrew, thank you. I don't know. Build on that, please. You know more.
So what would you? What would you think that? Just so since we're brainstorming, what would that look like? Because that's one of the reasons why we do these networking events, to try to get everybody connected. But you can see, 60 people registered, and there's 15 or 18 of us here together.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What I always find to do is, of course, we have to invest in ourselves. And in so doing, I always believe that one bag of cacao, usually internationally, that's like 160 pounds. If you look at that one bag, you say, okay, that's a beginning. That's like a grub stake for working with a small farmer. Because what it will always do when you have point of sales in the United States is it will cover your costs from going there, meeting even this way. For example, I'm still trabajando en español porque es muy importante para mí hablar con gentes en otros países. So I work with Spanish a lot, and I would like to work, like I say, in Jamaica. And one bag of cacao is a really fun investment, because what I find is you need to break bread, you need to talk to people about family, you need to be there. And I love the adventure. I've been doing this for a while, and I'll never stop by being direct, because I'm a small company, Troubadour Chocolate. I'm small, but even a small company is a big company. And for testimonials, I have lots of testimonials on what I do, but I don't try to tell too much of the world about it, in the sense that our community is small. I don't want anyone to really overbuy. I just think it's important to have one-to-one. The small farmer has a possibility if you just go talk to them. I start online. I mean, I would love to go to Nicaragua. I've learned many things about Nicaragua. I used to sell their coffee, in fact. So Mexico is special to me, and Jamaica. But to help a small farmer, even with just 1 acre, 1 hectare. How many sacos? How many costales? How many bags is that? When you look at how many they got, you can say in our US, if you were buying, say, from Chocolate Alchemy, you guys familiar with Chocolate Alchemy? You know, he sells tons and tons of stuff. Think of yourself as a small Chocolate Alchemy. Let's go and let's do it together. Because if we work with them, they can bypass the cost of brokers and what the government does. I mean, it's legal because they're able to legally grow. We're registered farmers in Jamaica. So with that as the case, no, we've already done our taxes. We've already paid everything. And I'm gonna finish it. Don't let them finish it there so much, because then they're in a situation. They partner with us, we finish it here, but we already paid what we want to pay them, not what the government's gonna pay them. And that is really a lot of fun when you experience already having money in their hands for their cacao. And now let's bring it up here and do those fancy chocolates. You know, and I am a chocolatier, but what I have found is trying to compete with all these companies up in Seattle. I'm not interested. There's another area. There's the market, the farmers markets. Those are nice markets. We're still a really small market, and just being direct, because what's important to me is that the people at the ground have water and food and everything is good there. That's what's important. And I always invest in myself. I go, I get a bag. I take someone with me, so I double how much I bring back. And every time, every time when you sign that immigration and they say, what are you bringing back? You say cocoa or chocolate, and they say, move on. That is totally legal. It's only when you get over to hundreds of pounds do you need a broker and to go through the other, you know, import, export. But if you're a small person, you can't compete with the big boys when someone like us says, come on, we got this. Let's, you know, you start small and you'll grow. But and then what they got on the land, all those other bags, we start there and just start getting them there. And that money is pretty good. And we're out of the hands of the government. Not that I'm not against governments. I understand the governments, but the farmer, usually like Jamaica, it's a class society. The people don't help the people below. They really don't. And you'll find a lot of times in these countries, the bureaucracy isn't really helping a person on the land. Because to say you're a farmer is like, really, I'm land heavy and cash poor. That's what we are. Well, let's get the cacao paid for right now. Let me buy that bag. So it's mine now. That's my bag of cocoa. How many do you have? I say, I want 10 bags. Those are all mine. And they're paid for. And now let us together go make some money in the United States. That's how I do it.
So what I'd like to just say, would you like to see more of these networking events, maybe once a quarter? And then if we do that, what help we would need from those of you that are showing up, invite a cocoa farmer.
Well,
put the word out to the cocoa farmers. So everybody that shows up has a contact that's a cocoa farmer. Bring one cocoa farmer to this event so that we can, because we all have a very deep love and passion for our cocoa farmers. Without them, none of us are in business, and none of us get to taste the beautiful products of their hard work. And if they don't get well paid and they don't get well taken care of, the next generation is not going to want to get involved, and it's going to be a lost art. And so we can consider doing more networking events and to reach farmers. If everyone here has a connection to a farmer, and you can bring a farmer or 2 or 5 or 10, that will help facilitate those connections, because we can only reach so many through our email and through our social media, the way that we can reach people. So we can rely on those of you here and those that register in the future. Get the word out to them and bring them here so that we can connect chocolate makers and cocoa farmers and try to help them more.
The algorithm is really small. All it takes is 1 before we hit 2. Like right now, I'm interested in the Oaxaca, for example, in Mexico, because I used to live in Mexico. I have a deep connection with the Yucatan. So I have one. I would love to have a Mexican cacao farmer. The one I was at before was a very large company. He was very big, which is okay. But I just take, if I had one, I'm going on the 12th. I wish I had a Mexican cacao farmer to go to this year, early next year. I really would, because I'm all in.
Very
Yes.
good. Ron mentioned tempering webinars, and we can plan maybe for a tempering webinar in 2023, but I will tell you that we've had 3 or 4, and reach out to us and we'll get you the links to those tempering webinars, tempering in hot climates. We had Thalia do a tempering webinar. Oh, we had our friend from Chocopreneurs, the 3D chocolate printing company came and did a tempering webinar.
Okay, I think for Kim's question, I think she's looking for a resource page. I'm just trying to see, maybe we should come up with a resource page where the farmers can put their information and anybody wants to reach out to them. Or maybe we can put the resource page of chocolate makers and farmers who want to share their information. So there will be a place where they can go and look at it. It's like, other than, now we will do the networking webinars where they can interact, virtually, but at the same time, there's something that lives on the website or in the cloud where people can go reach.
That's a great idea, Mrs. Balu. I think, yeah, like having them share what their area of expertise and what the areas that they need expertise, and then people can do their own matchmaking. Yeah, that's great.
That's a very good idea.
The other thing that I wanted to comment on, because it goes back to, I mean, it's a very deep conversation going on earlier today, is about the farmers and how we really need to get the word out about craft chocolate and how good it is, instead of, Nestle's and Hershey's and Mars, that there's a product there, because it's actually distinctly more complicated than coffee, and probably in kin to wine and or craft beer. Because I mean, in my area, craft beer is huge. We've got such a small community and we've got craft breweries everywhere, and they're charging a lot of money for it. And if we could educate people like here in the United States and abroad, how the quality of chocolate has evolved into this craft market, then it would increase the price and then the farmers would get more money. That's the fair trade that Ron was talking about in the chat, because they're not getting paid enough. And let's put it, I mean, bottom line, I would be a producer, so I would like to get it for the best price I can, but I don't want to cheat people either. I want to see them get what they deserve for their product. And we really need to educate the world on where chocolate is and how it's evolving and how great, and the nutritional value, which is huge in dark chocolate, the original product. I'm not a fan of milk chocolate at all, but that's just my opinion. But we need to start so that we need to start getting people involved and so that they'll pay more for it, so that the farmer can get more, down the line, the lineage. Otherwise, like you said, the newer generation, they're not going to want to do that. They're not going to want to be cacao farmers because there's not enough money in it, but we need to get it out there. And like, I think it was Andrew was saying, or the doctor was saying, these producers, I love Mexican chocolate. I've had it. I really like their product a lot. If they can make their own bars, that upscales their lifestyle too, because they're going to compete and get their product out there at a higher cost. They'll make more profit off of it. But just trying to get people educated is my big thing, because it's not junk. It's really a good quality product that actually has a very, very long, lengthy processing time that's very, very, articulate. You have to do something special to make that product. And I don't think people know that as much as they should. Just the average consumer. That's just my opinion. And it'd be great to find a way of educating people so that they know that.
Thank you, Jennifer. That gave me an idea for a webinar, which is getting someone to come in and do a webinar on how to teach chocolate makers to do chocolate tastings. And because, that one of the webinars we did, I can't remember who, there've been so many, but said, we have to educate people into being our customer.
Right.
in the chocolate industry, you got to educate them into being your customer because they don't know. Yesterday I was in the grocery store and the Christmas candy, I don't even call it chocolate anymore, candy was out, and there was peanut butter cup type candy, 6 in a package, $8.99. Well, if someone will pay $8.99 for that, why wouldn't they pay $8.99 for a beautiful bar that came from, made by an artisan chocolate maker with beans from Nicaragua or beans from Hawaii or wherever? The prices in the US for candy that people think as chocolate has gone up so much that it's almost matching the cost of artisan chocolate.
Right.
Right now might be a really good time to just really saturate people's mind and let them know about this product, because the price point is now kind of almost the same.
Right.
Then once we get them on the hook, then you can raise the price, because I think craft chocolate prices, if bulk chocolate is what it's cost now, then the price of craft chocolate needs to go up.
It does.
It needs to go
Everything's gone up.
And the farmer needs to get more.
And the
Right.
farmer needs to get more. Absolutely.
We have
Another webinar topic which we try to do every year is the some webinars on value add products. We like to say cocoa is more than chocolate. So value add products for chocolate makers and cocoa farmers. So they're not just relying on selling a bar or a bonbon. Not that those aren't great things, they are, but some things that can increase the profit margin. Okay, it's 10 after. Mrs. Balu, you want the last word, or shall we invite someone from the gallery to give the last word? Or I don't know if Mr. Balu is still here. Me personally, I just want to say thank you to everyone. It's been a very good season of webinars and the support, and thank you all.
I just want to say Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, so that our actions and can contribute to everybody's happiness and freedom.
Thanks so much for hosting. It's always wonderful.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Everyone, before you go, if you want to just turn on your camera and wave, you don't have to talk. You can just come in so we can all see each other. And
Oh, there they are.
very nice.
Jay, you can turn on your camera too.
Yeah. Gary, Jay, if y'all are here, you get to look at some of the faces of Cocoa Town. Dr. Balu was here for a moment.
Yeah, I think he's on mute. So,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Thank you all. We wish you a happy, Christmas and happy holiday season and happy New Year. We'll have one more webinar, but I don't know how many of you are joining. So if someone is not joining before the end of the year, have a good New Year.
Yes, we have a webinar coming up. The next webinar is a wonderful webinar about for Cocoa Farm, a film that's made about cocoa farmers in Trinidad and how to preserve the cacao in Trinidad. Denise made a beautiful film. We'll get some more information about that out to everyone soon. So we hope you'll come back for that. It should be wonderful. And we'll see you in 2023.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.